Good morning, everyone. Today we're learning about graphing our data, and specifically, we're going to be walking through graphing our time trial data. So I hope you had an awesome time trying to set your MES world record, scootering, biking, running with your dog, whatever it is you tried to set your world record at. We're going to be taking that data and graphing it. So before you begin, while you're watching this video, you need to pause a second and make sure you have all of these things. First of all, make sure I had to print out because it's easier for me to then bouncing back and forth. But you need to have your information from last week filled out. This is directions. Use the same format. Mark out your 50 yards. Do your time trial. My best time for the blank challenge was this you filled out and turned in as your assignment. So you need to have access to this assignment. You don't have to print it out. You have to have it on the computer, maybe. That's fine. But you have to have it ready to go. Now, this is specifically the part we need right there. The data in your rate table. That's what you need to have filled out. You notice that I don't have it filled out yet, so I'm going to have to pause and do that. If you also need to go back and fix something or finish something, do that now. The next thing you need is some graph paper. So if you picked up your packet from school last week on Thursday, I think it was, you have a packet of graph paper. You're in great shape. But if you forgot, if your family couldn't make it, no worries, because you've got graph paper right in your book on page 24. You can use that. So you need to have graph paper because we're going to be working on graph paper. Either one is fine. The next thing you need, again, I printed this out so we can see it easier, so I can hold it up, but this is in your Google Classroom. This is your assignment for today. It's the checklist. We are going to do all of these things, and then you're going to go back through and put your initials. Remember, it's the first letter of your first name, first letter of your last name. You're going to put your initials in those boxes after you do it. Don't do it before you do it. After you put all of these things, it's 2 pages, after you put all of these things on your graph, then you're going to go back and put your initials on. This is your checklist to help you make sure you've got everything you need on your graph. And the final thing you need are a pencil, because that way if you make a mistake, you can just erase. Then either some colored pencils or some markers or something to make it easier to see on your paper. And don't forget your straight edge. Now, you don't have to have a giant ruler like I have. You could just use a straight edge. You could use your book actually as a straight edge. Anything that's sturdy that makes a straight line, but you do need a straight edge. If you don't have any of this equipment, pause the video and go and get it and come back. All right, let's get started. So you can see I had to go back and finish this. Again, if you're not finished with it, go back and finish it. You can print it out and write if you want, but you can just type that on the computer. So my best time was biking, and it was 9 seconds. I went 50 yards in 9 seconds. What challenge did you do? Well, biking. What was your time? 9 seconds. Now, did you beat the teacher's time? No, I was the teacher time. Was it easy, medium, or hard? Well, I wrote easy because I'm good at biking. But then I remembered that I actually had to do 2 takes. The first time I totally wiped out and crashed into the curb. So I say it was easy, but it might have been medium. I'll have to see if I can find that messed up video and share that as an outtake for you. That's probably ugly. I haven't seen it myself, but your teacher crashing on her bike when the person says go, weird. Why did you choose that particular one? I chose that one because no other teacher had chosen it. When I was setting this up for us, I asked lots and lots of teachers to go and do those challenges that I hope you watched. And no one chose biking. And so that's why I chose it. And who helped you? My sons helped me, my husband, and our dog Coco. And we have a video of her doing the challenge as well. So maybe I'll see if I can find that too. All right, now's the part where we're going to fill out the rate table. You should have this filled out already too. If it looks blank, pause and do this with me. So my time was 9 seconds for 50 yards, but I don't want a 9 and a 50. I need something that has a 1. I want it to be a unit rate. So I need to take these 50 yards and divide them by the 9 seconds it took me so I know how far I went in 1 second, because I only want to know how far was I going in 1 second. So to do that, I'm going to take my calculator. You can take a calculator. You can open up a tab on your device and go to online calculator. I'm quickly going to go to my phone calculator, and I'm going to type in 50 divided by my time. 50 is the distance, and my time was 9. Your time is going to be different. That's okay. So 50 divided by 9, and you can see the answer is 5.5 repeating. So I'm just going to have you round that to the nearest second. A 5 is right in the middle. It always rounds up. So I'm going to round that to 6. So what that means then is I'm going to say I went in 1 second, I went 6 yards. Your numbers are going to be different. Don't let me trick you. Your numbers are not the same as mine unless your time was exactly the same as mine. So if I went 6 yards in 1 second, how many did I go in 2 seconds? Well, 12, because 2 seconds is twice as much, and I went twice as far. How many did I go in 10? Well, it's that 0 trick. If I went 6 in 1, I went 60 yards in 10 seconds. Now, what about 60 seconds? That's a minute. If I was biking at that speed for a minute, how far would I go? Well, what would 6 times 60 be? 360. And what about, and I hope this isn't a mistake still on yours. When I was typing, I left off a 0. Make sure this number says 3,600, 3,600. If I made a mistake on yours, please fix that. Now, 3,600 is how many seconds there are in an hour. So I'm now trying to calculate my speed in hours, in yards per hour. What is 6 times 3,600? Again, it's okay if you go to your trusty calculator. That's okay. So take out your calculator. 6 times 3,600, 3,600, 21,600. That's a lot of yards. All right, make sure you've done that so that you're ready for the graphing part. All right, I do want to draw your attention to one thing that's going on in this table. In case this is still feeling new for you, remember, something's going on in the middle of these two numbers. What is that thing that's going on in there? It's the same thing up and down the whole chart. This side is being multiplied by some number that gives us this side. So all up and down in the middle here, we could put times something, times something, times something, times something. What is that? That's our unit rate. Times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Now yours is going to be different. Yours won't be times 6 times 6 times 6. Yours might be times 10 times 10 times 10 times 32 times 32 times 32, whatever your unit rate is. But mine, up and down the whole chart, is times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Now you'll notice that my actual time is a little bit off that way because I rounded, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. If we were really setting an actual world record, if we were really Guinness Book of World Records, that would make a big difference for us. But we're learning about this, and this is a fun way to do it. So don't let that stress you out. All right, we're on to our graphing. I'm going to take down this so you can refresh yourselves on the graph that we made earlier this year. So this is the graph, and I made it giant so you could see it easier. But this time I'm going to make it on regular size paper so that you can see what that's going to look like. So have your paper out, and let's get started. Now, remember, I'm going to graph one piece of data going along the X and one piece of data going along the Y. My time is going to go along the X. So I'm even going to, so I don't get confused, I'm even going to tell it, start by writing that right down on the bottom, along the bottom, time. Then I'm going to turn and write distance on the y-axis. Now, I'm not finished labeling those because those are just general. We don't know what distance means. It could be inches, feet, miles, yards, meters. We don't know. So I'm not done with those labels yet, but they're just going to help keep me organized. Now, I'm going to look and say, how much time do I want to graph? I don't want you to graph 3,600 seconds. In fact, I don't even really want you to graph 60 seconds. I want you to graph up to 10 seconds. So let's take a look. We need to get to 10 and a little bit more. What can we count by given these things over here on the bottom left? Remember, that's going to be 0, 0. So I'll just put a 0 in there to remind myself. What could we count by? Could we count by fives? Well, sure, but if we counted by fives, 5, 10, our entire graph would just be in this tiny little section. That doesn't make sense. What if we counted by twos? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Still, we've only used a tiny bit of the graph. So we want to use as much of the graph as we can without going over. So in this case, since we're trying to get to 10, we're just going to use each one line as one. So this first line on the left is 0. Remember, you follow your finger straight down the line. Can you see me do this? Let me show you this. Here we go. I'm going to follow my finger straight down and put a 1. Go straight down the line, right down to the line, and put a 2, 3. Now, this is what you may want to be doing in pencil so that you don't make a mistake. And if you do, you can just erase. Look at that. Now, I didn't use the entire graph here, but I used more than half, so that's going to work for me. So there's my time. Now, I am going to put in my time. What is this? Are these hours? Are they minutes? Those are seconds. So after time, I'm going to write time in seconds. I want to help my reader of this graph know that that's seconds. So I'm going to write time in seconds. Now, remember, pause the video right here and you do the same thing. Then start the video again when you're done. Okay, so now I'm ready to plot my yards. My yards were 50, but that's how I went when I was doing my time trial. But the rest of this data is all based on how fast I was going. So how many yards I could cover in that number of seconds. So these numbers are going to be totally different for you. The time, you could just plot right along with me. This, you're going to have to use your own data. My data takes me up to 60 yards. Yours might be more or less, depending on what you did. Now, I'm looking at my sheet, and I have to go from 0 to 60, and I want to use as much of the height of the graph as I can without going over. So I need to get to a little more than 60. What if I counted by ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I only got 23. Can I count by ones? I can't. What if I counted by twos? Wait a minute. If it's 23, I know that twice 23 is a little more than 40. It's 46. So I'm still not there. I can't count by twos either. Now, our choices for counting are always friendly numbers. We really don't want to spend not much time counting by like 3s or 9s or something like that, because most people aren't real great at skip counting by those numbers. We want to skip count by something we're awesome at. I can tell you I'm awesome at 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 25s because of money, 50s maybe, and 100s. So if I can't count by ones and I can't count by twos because I'm not making it, what if I count by fives? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Okay. So I'm still, I make it kind of a small graph, but twos didn't work. And I'm not going to count by like fours. That's messed up. So instead, I'm just going to count by fives. So that's what I'm going to count by in mine. I'm going to count by fives. You are going to have to stop and think what you can count by. That's going to make sense for your data so that it's as tall as you can get it without being way up here off the top, and also that you're using a friendly number to skip count by. So now I'm going to watch how I'm doing this again now. Here we go. So let me put this so you can see it here. So I'm going straight along the line and I put the number right as if the line just kept going straight that way. So I'm counting by five, so I start with 0. There's the first one is 5. Straight down the line, there's 10. Notice how it's not in between in the spaces. It's right at that line. The next one comes out, and it's 15. The next one comes out, 20. The next one comes out. Now I'm going to do it a little bit like how I'm sitting so I can do it a little faster. You pause the video and do your own numbering. All right. So I've got my numbering numbered a little bit past 60. That's what I need to go to. You should number a little bit past what yours is. I have distance, but 60 what? 70 what? 10 what? I still need to say what that is distance in, and this is yards. So I'm going to say distance in yards. Whoops. Distance in yards. And that's what your label is going to be too. Distance in yards. All right. When you have yours completely labeled like this, you're ready to figure out your table of all of your data that you need. So you can go to a scratch sheet of paper, or you can go to your whiteboard. I'm going to write it on a whiteboard. So now you need something where we're going to write out all of the data so we can turn it into ordered pairs. All right, you're going to need to create a table like this if you haven't already. So here's my time trial challenge. My labels of my top are seconds and yards because it was how fast I was going and how far I went. The seconds is the time, the yards is how far. So in 1 second, I went 6. In 2 seconds, I went 12. Now, the only other one that I have that I know already, that I already calculated from yesterday, is the 10. So I need to fill out the rest of these. So pause yours and make this kind of a chart for yourself and fill out your whole chart. Then start the video again when you're ready with that, and I'm going to do the same. All right, I've done mine. I'm ready to turn mine into ordered pairs, and you must be too if you've restarted the video. So these are the ordered pairs. Remember, they have a parenthesis, then the x-axis, then a parenthesis, the comma, then the y-axis, and then the final parenthesis. So parenthesis, some number x, comma, some number y, parenthesis. So let's use this first piece of data. The x, we said, was the time, the seconds. So the x is 1, and the y is 6. There it is. So our ordered pair for this is comma 1, not comma, parentheses. Sorry about that. I hope you were correcting me in your mind there. Parenthesis 1, comma 6, parenthesis. Let's go to the next one. The seconds are on the x-axis, so that's the first number. The yards is on the y-axis, so that's the second number. So the ordered pair for this one is parenthesis 2, comma 12, parenthesis. Go ahead and do that for your whole thing. Turn your whole data table into ordered pairs. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'll be right back with you. If you're back, I hope it means that you're completed as well. So now we are ready to plot. So we've got this. Let's have this here. I'm going to actually put that right there so you can continue to see it as I'm working, and I'm going to get out my graph. Now remember, when I am graphing, the x is side to side, side to side. So I'm going to graph that first. So I need to go side to side 1, up and down 6. So here it is. I go side to side to the 1 and up and down to the 6. Oh no, I don't have a 6 on my graph. Yikes. What am I going to do? Do I have to start over? No, remember, your dot may or may not land exactly on the crosshatch of the lines. This is the 5 line. This is the 10 line. We know somewhere in between 5 and 10 is 6. Is it closer to the 5 or to the 10? Well, that's an easy one. It's closer to the 5, isn't it? So I'm going to go over 1. That's going to be right on that line right there. But my dot is going to be not right on the 5 line. It's going to be not right on the 10 line. It's going to be a little bit above the 5 line. Now, I was doing that in pencil so I could erase, but because it's really hard to see, I'm going to actually do that right here in purple. There it is. So you can see it's exactly on the 1 line, but it's not on the 5. It's not on the 6. Oh, my paper's shaking a little bit. It's not on the 6, or it's not on the 5. It's not on the 10 line. It's on the 6. It's just a little bit above. Let's try the next one. I need to go over 2 and up 12. Over to 2, easy. There's the 2. Now I go straight up to 12. Again, 12 is in between 10 and 15. Is 12 closer to 10 or closer to 15? It's almost right in the middle, isn't it? Right. So my dot is going to be almost right in the middle of 10 and 15. Let's do one more. Over 3, up 18. So I'm going over to 3, up to 18. 18 also is almost in the middle of 15 and 20. So I'm going to go over 3. I'll do this so you can see it. I'm going to go over 3 and up 18. There it is. Now I'm going to keep plotting mine. You use the same technique and plot yours. Remember, at any time, if you get confused, you can pause and go back and rewatch that part of the video again, because I'm showing you exactly how to do it. So it's okay to go back and rewatch if you need to. Come back right here and I'll have plotted. Come back when you've plotted yours. All right, take a look. There it is. I've plotted mine. You've plotted yours. We're ready to go to draw our line. So this is where you're going to get your straight edge. Here's my straight edge. You're going to get your straight edge. Remember what we're going to do? Lay it down. We're going to go right through the 0. Remember, so we want our line to go straight through the 0 and straight through the top number. And we want to connect all of our dots in a straight line. So there I go. I've got it lined up like that. I'm going to connect it right through 0. And then remember, I'm going to go a little bit past. See how I went a little bit past my dots? Because you know what's coming? An arrow. Because I could have kept riding my bike and my time would have continued to go and my distance would have continued to go. So I'm going to put the arrow to say that's going to keep going in that same direction. Pause the video and get your straight edge. By the way, no one has ever tricked that you didn't use a straight edge. No one. So please make sure you find a straight edge so your line is straight. And then make sure to put an arrow at the end, pause, and come back when you've done that. All right, we're nearly done. So we have 2 things to go. Do you know what they are? We have to write our ordered pairs near our points. And we also have to give our graph a title. So we're going to go ahead and write our ordered pairs near our points. All that means is it means you take these ordered pairs that you already made. Those are your ordered pairs. You plotted them here. We're just going to write the numbers with the parentheses near them. So here we go. So this first one was parenthesis 1, 6. So right by it, I'm going to write parenthesis 1, 6. I'm just going to put that right next to that. The next one was 212. So I'm going to write parenthesis 2, comma 12, parenthesis. So I'm just labeling, I'm putting those ordered pairs, I'm writing them right near my dots. The next one is 3, comma 18. There they are. That's what you're going to do. Pause the video and write in all of your ordered pairs. All right, there it is. The last thing we need is our title. This has to tell us what we're looking at. Right now, we only see that something is going in seconds and something is going in yards. If I gave this to anybody who hadn't watched this video, they would have no idea what this graph was about, aside from it was something moving at a certain speed. That's all they would know. Our title needs to give us the information that helps us identify this is a graph that's about me and biking. So I need to have kind of the who or what or where or when that helps my reader, the person who sees this graph, understand what they're looking at. So it has to have my name. So it has to say, Miss Gubrud. It has to tell what I'm doing. I'm biking. So I'm going to say Miss Gubrud's biking. And when am I doing this? Is this just me? How long it took me to go to the grocery store? Or I'm mountain biking? Or I'm on a cross-country journey? No, this is my time trial. This is my MES world record time trial. I'm going to write MES world record time trial. Now my graph has a title. So now I'm in good shape. Now, as soon as I'm done with this, I need to take a picture with my device because I'm going to insert the picture. Don't send it in a chat to me. Don't send it in an email to me. You're going to take a picture of your graph and you're going to insert it right into this doc. So here we go. Let's go through this doc. This is your assignment. It's listed as your assignment in your Google Classroom. Did I use a neat vertical and horizontal line? Well, I had a graph, so that was easy. So I'm going to write PG. There are my initials. Did I number along the x-axis? You bet I did. I counted by ones. Did I number along the y-axis? You bet. I counted by fives. Do you see how I'm asking myself and I'm answering my own questions? You're going to do this exact thing. Pause the video, go through each of these and say, did I do this? 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 Pause the video and do that. All right, insert a picture here. Your clicker is going to be right in that box. Then you're going to go to insert up at the top. Remember, this is on a device, but it's just easier for me to show you on paper rather than showing you on the computer. Insert your image and upload it in your computer. You're going to put it right in here. If you want to put it down on the bottom, that's fine, but it needs to be in this doc. Then the very last thing, turn in your assignment. Only turn in your assignment if you've done everything on here. Remember, you can email me, you can chat me, you can come to my office hours for a math chat to get the help you need. See you next time.